Hey everybody, Cranky Old Cuber here. I'm going to do a video today about how to assemble the Dayan Bagua cube. As you may recall, we did a video a while back about how to take it apart and lube it without taking it all the way apart and without having to deal with, millions of little pieces all over the place and everything. And we were pretty successful at doing that. As a matter of fact, I will link that video in the description in case you missed it. Because it might be difficult to find it among my millions and millions of other videos. So I'll link it down there so you can. Anyway, Dave did the lubing and tensioning and it worked really well. As a matter of fact, it almost worked too well. He scrambled it up a little bit after he was done, not fully shape-shifted or anything, and I started messing around with it, and it was nice and easy to turn, and everything felt pretty good. And then I botched an algorithm. And then I got it accidentally shape-shifted, so it turned out that instead of doing a minor solve of it in cube shape, I got to do a major solve of it. And so I ended up taking it with me to work. And I think I had it for a few days where I was working on solving it, and I finally got the outer edges oriented correctly, which is one of the big steps in solving this thing. And I was super happy about it. I was so happy about it that I got pretty frisky exchanging the corners and the edges, and I twisted a kite. And you don't want to twist a kite. This was particularly bad because I didn't know I twisted the kite until it was too late. It just felt like a little rough spot. And then I was turning it, and I noticed it didn't look right. Like, it looked wrong. And I took a picture of it, and I posted it to our Slack, and Dave concurred that it also didn't look right. So I spent the next couple of hours messing with it a little bit, trying to get it fixed. And it finally occurred to me that I was going to have to pull a piece out. And because what had happened is I didn't just get a kite twisted. I actually exchanged a kite with another one and then twisted it. So that was even better. So I had two kites that were just in the wrong place and not in the normal manner of scrambling the cube, but in the oops, I broke it kind of way. So I decided I was going to have to pull a kite. So I pulled the first one and all was well. It was all good. The cube held its shape, and I went to pull the second one to exchange them back, and the cube just melted. And so I was sitting there with my cube in pieces, Traxxas 30K all over everything. And I just sighed, and I got a Ziploc bag, and I put it all in the bag, and I put it away. So now I've decided I'm going to put it back together. And what you're seeing right now is me sorting and cleaning and getting the Traxxas off of it, and just basically making sure I have all the pieces so that we can start this thing. There are a lot of little tiny pieces, and hopefully this part of the video will help you understand what pieces there are and, basically know what to do. So once we're done with this and get it all cleaned up, then we can go ahead and start the assembly. And that'll be the next part of the video. So I hope you enjoy this, and it should be a lot of fun. So here we are, ready to start assembling. I'm going to follow the procedure outlined in Ramon13's comment in the twistypuzzles.com forum post about assembling this cube, which, as usual, I will link in the description. I'm using application tape here because the masking tape I have right now kind of sucks, and I couldn't get a sheet built out of it. So I gave up and just decided to waste some application tape on this. Now, this puzzle is a bit daunting, and it actually has taken me a while here to figure out what pieces go where. So you'll see me fumble around and try to figure out what's going where. Also, it's not super easy to tell the difference between the way the different wings or the kite's face. So sometimes you just got to trial and error until you figure it out. And this is me trying to figure out how to get the little triangle pieces in there. There we go. We got a composite edge, and you got a corner going, and we got the outer edges. So now I'm going to try to figure out how to get this yellow center in. As it turns out, couldn't figure it out. And also I didn't realize at the time, but I was missing the kites on the bottom and the triangles. And I would have really liked to have put pictures in here of the pieces, but I kind of lost my compact flash reader. So we're not going to be able to do that this time. And of course I got my big giant head in the shot there, so that's always great too. So anyway, I tore it down and I'm going to try it again. And this time I'm building around the mostly assembled core. It's not working very well. And here's why. First, I kind of had a devil of a time getting all the bits in the right places with the red and the blue and the orange and the green centers in the way. And also I kept getting my head in the shot, and nobody wants that. So then I had to figure out what to do. And it turns out that I decided to remove all of the centers from the core except the yellow one, and we would try reassembling it around that and see how that worked out. Yep, we got the yellow center down there, and then we put the little triangles. And now I'm trying to figure out how the corner fits on the triangle because it's not obvious yet. And then I figure out that I can just put the... Oh, nope, I got to test fit a few more pieces and see how it works. It's a lot of trial and error going on here. But we're getting it figured out. And that seems to be going better now. Yep. I highly recommend the use of tweezers for those little tiny triangle pieces as well. At least for me, it was a lot easier to get stuff moved around. I got these giant sausage fingers. So finally we're moving along, and this is working pretty good now. Yeah, I tried to apply bits of tape to keep everything together, and it didn't really work, so I gave up on that. Decided I'd try to do the tape later. This first layer actually did, once I got it figured out what to do, it actually stayed together relatively okay just on the application tape. So I didn't really need to bind it all together until it was time to start building the next bit. So we're nearing the end. We're getting the last little triangle pieces put in. Then the kites and the composite edge, and the rest of the stuff. And this worked a lot better. It's a little precarious, and I should have cleaned more of the lube off because it would have stuck better. So as I mentioned, the masking tape was not very good, so I got some better tape and rewrapped the first layer, and it's much more secure now. It took me a bit to figure out how the second layer would build on the first layer, but I puzzled it out, as it were. Once the 3 triangles for the side were in, I attached to the center to the core for stability. Now the kites can go in. Now keep in mind there are 2 kind of kites. They are mirrors of each other, so you'll have to figure out which one goes where. Do the other 3 sides the same way. Don't tighten them too much though. Now you can start placing the composite edges above their corners. And then you start placing triangles. And then do the rest of the triangles the same way. Now place the remaining kites for the second layer. When you're done, you'll have 2 of each color left for the final layer. Once the kites are placed, now you can place the outer edge. Now place 2 more triangles for each color. I had to loosen the tensions on the centers to get everything to settle in properly. Now it's time to build the final layer. I built another sticky layer out of my new masking tape, which was way better than the old masking tape, which only stuck to itself. So yeah, you just build the last layer the same way you built the first layer. Now, just like with the first layer, wrap this layer with masking tape fairly securely and make sure all the parts are stuck to it. It took me a while to do this. The reason you care is because you're going to pick it up and put it on top of the other bit just like a lid, and you don't want it to fall apart. With everything secure, I then poked a hole for the screws so we can attach the white layer to the rest of the cube. Those tweezers are obviously made for this purpose, especially to precise specifications by a Swiss company and are only available by special order. I was worried about the last layer falling apart, so I wrapped it again with masking tape. That done, I checked the tensions on the first two layers again. That green-orange corner was still not acting quite right. Finally, it's time for the moment of truth. We are going to very carefully put the last layer on, just like a lid. Now we tighten down that screw. And then we tighten down the other face. We want to make sure they're good and secure so that when we pull the tape off, it doesn't explode. And now we can remove the top and bottom sticky layers. We'll tighten things up a little more, and then we can remove the masking tape from the first and last layers. And I'm a little afraid still, so I'm going to tighten everything down really, really good, and then just loosen it a bit until stuff turns. Everything is turning now and looking good, but I'm going to be very careful here. Finally, it's time to put the center caps back on. There's supposed to be a way to do that such that you'll be able to tell if you have a parity problem when you're solving, but I need to go rewatch the lube and tension video where Dave explained it. So I'm just going to put the caps on any which way. I had a bit of trouble with the green cap. It didn't want to stay on. I ended up putting it on in a random orientation, I fear. And there you have it, a fully reassembled Bagua cube. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you on the next one.